good. So you found the marshmallows and skewers, I see.
Oh, we sure did. I love marshmallows.
Don't talk with your mouth full. So, what's the latest news on the footprint? We haven't heard anything since we came back.
Well, it's actually been really quiet lately. Who knows, maybe Bigfoot or whatever it is has left the area.
But what about the fur?
The fur? Well, the police said it was probably just a piece of clothing left behind by one of our guests.
But they weren't sure?
No, I don't think they were.
Good evening, everyone. Where's Catherine?
I'm here.
Oh, good.
So glad you could join us.
Marshmallow?
Yeah, no thanks.
Okay, well, here we are at our closing fire. I can't believe how fast our time together has gone. But before we get started, I'd like to say how much we have appreciated having you all as our guests. I really can't thank you enough. We have loved getting to know you.
And we'll be so sad to see you all leave in the morning.
Oh, you're making us blush.
Thank you guys so much for making this a world-class experience. I think we can all agree that Camp Kilimanjaro gets 5 stars.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your very kind words. We really do appreciate it. Okay, well, this afternoon I asked each of you to come prepared to share something from your experience. A favorite memory, something that you learned, anything really. So who would like to go first? Catherine?
Well, okay. I mean, I didn't have much time to think about this because of the crisis that happened this afternoon.
Oh no.
Don't worry, everything's okay now. You know, you never think it's gonna happen to you. And then you not only find 1, but 2 hangnails.
No, not a hangnail, Francis.
Okay, you being a man wouldn't understand how serious a hangnail can be to a woman's delicate hands.
Oh, and especially a celebrity woman like yourself.
I know, my thoughts exactly. But anyway, about my time here. I was so pleased with myself how I was able to handle every situation with confidence and poise. But, you know, I never really traveled internationally before, so naturally, I didn't know what to expect. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. So, I guess the one thing that'll take away from this experience is that I'm even more amazing than I ever thought I was.
Okay, well, who's next?
I'll go. So I wrote some things down, but I thought it'd be more interesting if I made it into a poem. So for your listening pleasure, I present to you My Trip to Africa by America's Weatherman, Storm Weathers. We decided to take a station's break and fly to Tanzania for charity's sake. I'd never been to Africa before. All I knew is there were animals galore. But it's more than just a safari's destination. It's a land of peoples, tribes, and nations. I did some things I didn't think I'd do, like climb a mountain and eat warthog sausage goo.
Ew!
Sorry, oatmeal didn't rhyme there.
Okay.
I even learned to speak some Swahili, like Jumbo and Rafiki, and Jumbo and Rafiki. The barometer rose as high pressure built in, and Rob was almost eaten when he went for a swim. We found a footprint as big as can be, and wondered if Bigfoot was running free, which would have helped our documentary. If I ever return to Africa someday, I want to be with my friends at Camp K.
Thank you for sharing that. Rob?
Well, I wrote a long list, but we're sure to go into extra innings if I read that whole thing. So I chose my top 2. Now, reaching the top of Mount Kilimanjaro was the experience of a lifetime. Really, it was beautiful. But more importantly, my faith has grown since I've come to Camp Kilimanjaro, and for that I can't thank you guys enough.
That really blesses me to hear that. Thank you all so much. And that leads me right into our next devotion, which is our final devotion of this camp. Today's verse we're going to talk about is Proverbs 13:20. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. I think that's fairly easy to understand. Who you choose to spend time with will eventually affect your character. You've all heard the phrase, you are what you eat, right? Well, what does that mean?
Well, it means that you have to be healthy and put good things in your body.
Why won't that be?
That's right. And the same principle applies to our friends. If you want to be wise, walk with the wise. In other words, choose your friends carefully, because eventually you'll become like they are. A perfect example is a young man who used to work here. His name was Jimmy, and he was one of our best workers, before Terry came along, that is. Well, Jimmy got in with the wrong crowd, and he began to change. His work was affected. I talked to him about it many times, but he wouldn't listen. Eventually, I had to let him go. Jimmy started strong, but because of some unwise choices that he made, I don't know if he's going to finish well. And God wants us to finish well.
I do want to finish well, Mrs. Harper.
Mr. Kendall?
I thought it was Hank Ranger.
I thought he was Park Kendall.
No, guys, it's Hank Park Ranger Kendall.
Actually, I am Jimmy.
Jimmy, is that you? I had no idea.
I was listening to you guys talking and I felt like it was my turn to share.
What would you like to say?
Well, I'd like to apologize for all the trouble I've been causing lately.
Lately? What do you mean?
No, see, it's about the footprint.
Footprint?
You were the Bigfoot? But why?
Because I was angry that Mrs. Harper fired me. And then my friends convinced me to ruin your business by scaring away all your guests. I pretended to be a park ranger to keep you from finding out. I'm really sorry. Will you please forgive me?
Of course we'll forgive you. But why are you telling us this now?
Because I've been changed too. You see, it was also the person who took the backpack. I was hoping you thought Bigfoot took it.
So that's where it went.
Exactly. And in it, I found this book of Proverbs, which I wound up reading cover to cover. And I was scared when I heard and I was reading about the wicked and the foolish because it was describing me. Mrs. Harper, I don't want to be that way anymore.
Have you talked to God about it?
Yes. I remembered what you used to say about becoming a child of God. And so I wound up praying and asking God to forgive me. I remembered what you had been talking about how Jesus pays the penalty for what we've done, for all the bad things that we've done. And I asked him to do the same for me.
So, are you a part of God's family now?
Yes, I believe I am.
Wow, I'm amazed.
Mr. Kendall! Mr. Kendall, I mean, Jimmy, that's so wonderful.
Oh, that's okay. You keep it.
Oh, thanks. May I sit with you guys?
Yes, absolutely. Have my chair.
I have to admit, I'm kind of bummed out that the big footprint was the hoax. It would have made a great story.
Oh, yeah. And John and I would have been so jealous.
Well, you may have all been fooled, but I knew it was a hoax the entire time. Bigfoot, silly Bigfoot.
Salute to nature! Salute to you, and you, and you, and you, and you,